This is the Sigma 24-70mm f2.8 art lens for Sony E-mount. I have it hooked up to my Sony a7 IV body, and I absolutely love this lens. In this video, I want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you what it looks like at 70mm, which we have it at right now, versus 24mm, which now it's at, and how it focuses at those distances. Then I want to show you how smooth the manual focus can be if you're trying to pull focus and get a really nice focus shift effect. So I'm going to show you an example of that. And then we're going to take a couple of photos and zoom into them so that you can see the detail and the quality of the images that this lens creates. One thing to note is that this lens does not have any sort of vibration reduction or vibration control, but let's get into the various focal lengths. To show you a better example, I'm going to turn the camera down this hallway and I'm going to go stand right by that crock over there. We're going to set the camera at 24mm, which it's at right now, and we're going to take a look. The camera is at 24mm, as you can see, and you can get a clear picture of the setting. I am in the long hallway in our living room area. You can see the other room as well a little bit. You can see this door, etc. And it focuses pretty well. Even when I take a little step back, I take a little step forward, but I'm pretty small in the frame. So now what I'm going to do is switch it over to 70mm so you can see how much more zoomed in that is. Now at 70mm, you can see that as I walk around, the lens does a pretty good job of focusing with the a7 IV body, and it makes me take up much more of the frame. So it's really nice to have so much range in the lens. Keep in mind, this is on a full frame body. If you're on something like an a6400 or a6500, the APS-C size sensors, it's gonna be a little bit more zoomed in when you're at 24 and at 70 because there is a crop factor. But overall, I think it looks really good. So now let's go outside, take a couple of pictures, and I'll show you what manual focus looks like as well. What's really nice with this lens is that it has a customizable button on the left side, so I can get my perfect focus by clicking that button and then magnifying. I can manually set focus, and then as you can see, when I pull the focus ring, I can very smoothly focus on the white flowers in the background. Now, I do wish that the focus ring was actually a little bit heavier so I could do this a little bit more smoothly, but as you can see, it has really, really nice bokeh, very blurry when you get it to fully be out of focus. Then as you can see, the purple flowers will come back into focus here. Hopefully I can nail it. I'm using the small monitor on the camera. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Hopefully it's in focus for you guys. And as you can see, the background is really blurred out. If I were to put this on autofocus, you can see that right here, I can just move my focus point and I can turn the camera a little bit, click that, and you'll see that the background in 1 second will start to go into focus. There we go. And then I can move over here. You'll see that goes into focus. So it does a really nice job of focusing very, very quickly on whatever's in front of it. If I were to put my hand here, it'll focus on my hand. And that is a quick overview of the video footage from the Sigma 24-70 Art with a Sony a7 IV. Finally, we have a couple of images that were shot in the same location with that same setup, the 24-70 Art. As you can see, super shallow depth of field. This image does show a little bit of noise here, but that could easily be reduced with editing. You can see that the background blur is just beautiful. Very, very nice focus fall off. Here we have an image which has a little bit more isolation going on. This was just one plant that we have with the white wall in the background. This is actually super sharp. The plant itself looks not super clear in real life, which is kind of crazy. But we're going to move on to the next image. You can see a very similar image here. I believe this one was shot at f4 to give us a little bit more of our depth of field so that we can get more things in focus. Looks really nice again. Here's a sample photo of a frog statue LED light that we have outside. You can see the amount of detail that we're getting inside the actual LEDs. You can see that we have 2 different bulbs here even. Crazy amount of detail. We can see some bird matter, some bird droppings there. For landscape photography, it's also phenomenal. I believe this image is at f6.3, I think. Let's see, we have our data right here. We have our EXIF data. So this was shot at 1/160th, f6.3 at 70mm. So this is a fantastic lens. You can see that it's really nice and crisp. We can see the trail, we can see the power lines at the top. We see all these details. And then finally, for your portrait photographers, here's a portrait I took of myself. This one is at f2.8. This is all natural light, just on a tripod with a self timer. And you can see the detail in the eyes here. Looks really, really good. This right eye definitely more in focus than the left eye here. Of course, with some basic adjustments in Lightroom or Capture One or whatever editor you use, this comes out looking really, really good. So I love using this setup for both photo and video. I highly recommend it, and hopefully this video helps you with your decision.